kinda like complicated. I never know what I'm chasing, no. I don't need someone to save me, but you appear like a lightning bolt. Maybe you're a wizard, 'cause you're busy. There's magic in your rhythm, like a shockwave to my system. Maybe you're a wizard, 'cause you're busy. 'Cause every time I'm with you, you're my one and only elixir. Like a magnetic attraction, a supernatural vertigo. It's a chemical reaction, something I never imagined, no. Maybe you're a wizard, 'cause you're busy. There's magic in your rhythm, like a shockwave to my system. Maybe you're a wizard, 'cause you're busy. 'Cause every time I'm with you, you're my one and only elixir. You're the one that lights me up, ah. You're the one that lights me up, ah. You're the one that lights me up, ah. You're the one that lights me up. Baby, you're a wizard, 'cause you're busy. There's magic in your rhythm, like a shockwave to my system. Maybe you're a wizard, 'cause you're busy. 'Cause every time I'm with you,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Learn With Me stream. My name is Ashley. I work for NVIDIA on the Omniverse team as a connection evangelist. And this is the stream that I do every Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I have taken a little bit of a break, so I'm back. And today we're going to be looking over the conveyor belt tool because I did a bunch of work with it back in January, and I wanted to compile everything I learned into like one stream. So we're going to do that today. But I have my housekeeping, so let's get started. First thing I want to address is there have been some bad actors in our chats lately. Omniverse, NVIDIA as a whole is a safe space. The community is always welcoming and helpful, and I want to keep it that way. So there's a code of conduct. It's been posted in the forums a long time ago, but I'm going to address it every stream now. And I posted it in my resources, which I need a link in the chat here. So if for any reason you violate our code of conduct and make this not a safe space, then I can use my discretion and my mods can use their discretion to put you out. So just your warning, which is here. So you can read through that on your own terms. And then also in this link, in this resource doc, is a getting started page. So if you're new to Omniverse, here's the getting started page, what you need for your system, recommended skills, and then downloading it, all of that. Next up is the environment set the scene challenge. I don't think you need to be an environment artist. You're just creating an environment for this challenge. Using Omniverse somewhere in your workflow, whether it's to set the scene, render it out, whatever you use Omniverse for in your workflow, using all of your other favorite apps. Remember, this is not a contest, just a challenge, but you do have the chance to be featured on the Omniverse channels and the NVIDIA Studio channel. So that's really cool. That ends June 30th, next week. Yeah, Zia's right. You can import from Unreal. Tanya did a whole stream on that, which was really cool. I love Tanya's workflow. Next I want to promote is Aaron Look has a USD video series coming out very soon. It's going to be a workflow if you're new to USD or not even new to it, you want to learn some other tips and tricks. This is coming out, so keep on the lookout for this. Some of the announcements from Computex you can check out in the forums. Our ad event calendar. So if you don't already have this to your calendar, you want to add it to make sure you don't miss any of the streams like mine. The one that's happening in 45 minutes with Magiscan, Eric's EDIO, and Maddie's office hours. So many different things going on, so you don't want to miss that. And then finally, in the resource links is the conveyor belt utility tools. So it just talks its usage, gives you like a rundown of its UI, not super in depth. So hopefully today's stream can help you a little bit. I think that's it. No prize for the challenge. If with this, it's just a fun thing to do that the community sets up every month, and you get to explore a little bit without any kind of blockers or like pressure on you. I always like doing these. These are fun to do. Okay, I got Isaac Sim up here. I'm using production version 22.2.1. And first thing we do when we are doing the conveyor belt tool is make sure that the extension is loaded. So I go into Window. Is this big enough for you guys to see? Let me know. I'll take my face off the screen if you can't see. But you go into extensions, window extensions, and you type in conveyor. And it should be the Isaac Sim conveyor belt utility. I have mine enabled and auto-loaded. So every time I open Isaac Sim, it will already be ready for me to go, so I don't have to turn on this extension anymore. Then you're going to go into Tools, and you go to Conveyor Track Builder. So one of the things I learned when I was first doing the Conveyor Track Builder was that my scene, like my conveyor tracks were massive. They were like way bigger than the ground. So if that happens to you, you go into edit, preferences, and then in preferences, you have your stage. This is where you can set up the default up axis and your meters per unit. I believe IsaacSim defaults to Z up. And then I don't remember what the default is because I must have changed this a really long time ago. I don't know if the default is like 0.001 or 1. I get them confused between IsaacSim and USD Composer. But I set mine to 1 whole meter per unit. And then my conveyor belt assets aren't massive compared to my scene. Sundar asks a really quick question. How to control the speed of the conveyor? Yeah, I will show that. That's a big question I get. So I'm going to show that in just a minute. All right. Omniverse is 1 centimeter. Yeah. But I think, I can't remember if USD Composer is 1 unit, 1 meter per unit, or if it's flipped, because IsaacSim and USD Composer are not the same measurement. I think IsaacSim is 1 centimeter. I cannot remember. So this is what I do just to double check. My Z-axis is up. My meters per unit is set to 1. Cool. Yeah. I'm going to take my face off the screen. So, it's going to feel more like a lecture for y'all. There you go. Hopefully you can see the screen better. Thanks, Martin. All right. So now I got that set. If this was like something I needed to adjust, then I don't need to save anything. I just X out of IsaacSim and restart it. And this would be saved, but mine's already good to go. My conveyor belt is fine. I'm going to create a ground plane. I like the way it looks better. And my assets won't fall through when I press play. And cool. So I got my conveyor belt. Also, what I learned is these can be really slow to load the first time you use them. I've used them a bunch. So when I click on them, they only take like a second to flip between the different assets. See how quickly I can flip through those? You might not experience that your first time. So if you click this and it takes a little bit to load, just take your hand off the mouse and give it a moment. These are really heavy duty assets. So you want to make sure that you give it time. So I'm going to start by creating a conveyor start. And I'm just going to, does this go bigger? Oh no, it doesn't adjust. So IsaacSim is 1 meter per unit. So I think USD Composer is 1 centimeter. Yeah. So if you take these assets into USD Composer, you have to adjust your USD Composer settings, or else your assets are going to be like mega big. All right, so after I click my start and I press this little plus icon, it creates the asset. So it goes from that ghostly green to an actual asset itself. And then I can start building my track. When I did this before, I created like a U shape. I'm kind of do the same thing. It reminds me of Roller Coaster Tycoon. So if you've ever played that, it's like when you're building a roller coaster, it feels very similar. I'm gonna go here. Let's go this way. Mine load pretty quickly, which is really nice. Let's go that way. Let's go up. You see, now that I have the up already there, I have to press the flat piece again. Let's turn. You can really like fill your whole scene with these, which is fun. Let's go down. And then this one will go down again. And the only thing is, so you can change the direction of where your end is by pressing these two. And then this adjusts its height, but from what I can tell, the lowest it goes is this. We could delete it and then do that. And that's kind of as low as it'll go for the flat piece. I think we're fine with that. You can make an endpoint, but I think you need a flat piece to do that. No, won't even let me make an end piece. I don't remember what that was about, if I ever figured that out. Okay, let's do this one. And when we are done building our track, we just X out of the tool. If we need it to come back, go back into tools, go back to conveyor track builder, and make sure we have that last piece selected, and it'll pick it back up from where it started. So now we got our conveyor track builder or built. And let's create a asset. Now, before, and this is with like the recent Isaac Sim update, and I need to report a bug because there used to be like props and stuff. Oh, there they are. They weren't working for me earlier today. I was looking for like a box. I like using these because usually they already have the physics applied to them. But I'm going to show you actually just from like a regular prim, so you can see how, if you don't have physics applied to something, how you can do it. Or like a sim ready trash can. All right, let's create a cube mesh. It is a big box, so we're gonna make it a little bit smaller so it fits on the track. There we go. And now when I press play, it's just gonna fall through. Actually, it does nothing because it has no physics applied to it, so it doesn't even know it needs to react to do anything. So I'm gonna go into this cube and I'm gonna click add physics rigid body with colliders preset. Now when I press play, it will fall onto the track, but it's not going to go anywhere because the track needs to be adjusted to have velocity. So let's click our track. Each track is going to have its physics materials, its regular materials that give it its aesthetic look. It's going to have its mesh, its little decals, and the belt. In addition to that, which is the most important, is your action graph. Your action graph is actually where the velocity is. And I remember when I first learned this, it took me maybe the end of the first stream to figure this out. But you have to go into the actual action graph itself. You don't have to open it. You just click on the conveyor node. And this is where your velocity is set. So now we're going to press or type in 1. At least get it going. But you see it's going in the wrong direction. My directions are all set in the negative axis. I don't know why. I'm just going to fix it. Now it should be going the correct way. So I just change it from -1 to 1. And I kind of have to do that for all of mine. Go into the conveyor node. Looks like it's set in the right direction. 1. Do it again. You can make it go faster. I've like launched like a ton of cans off of these before by making the velocity like 20, which was really fun. This one is not, this one's direction. Oh, because it's a turn. So I think that should be fine. Ooh. Can we filter by conveyor node to select all of them? Yeah, I would imagine so. Let's type in conveyor node. Yeah, there you go. That's a great idea. So now we just go in, from all to one. Maybe I should have made my track a little bit smaller for testing purposes, but it was too fun to make a really big one. I know I'm limited on time today, so try to make this quick. Tomorrow and Wendy are going to kick me off for Magiscan, which I want to watch too. They're doing like 3D modeling for AR using AI. I'm like super curious about that. I got my start in like this whole 3D world stuff with 3D modeling. I even worked for like an artist at a 3D printing studio making 3D models. And it's not my favorite thing to do, so if I could speed up that process, that'd be great. All right, let's press play and see where this goes. You can control shift select all to change the value simultaneously. Look at all of you with your little tips and tricks. Ah, look how beautifully this little thing goes. Bam. It's gonna go up. Look at that. Oh my god, amazing. I love it. I'm gonna show you all a little trick though, because sometimes that doesn't always work. And I'll show you how you can set the friction in the physics material if you need it. Mine seems to be working fine, but I've had issues where I need more friction. And had to learn how to do that thanks to Dave Tyner. Yay! If y'all remember in my Learn With Me stream, I had a palette there and I created a counter. So every time a box fell, it added the counter. That was fun. Okay, let's reset my filter. Oh, get rid of that. And let's go into the physics material. So if we needed to add friction, we can. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to show you how your friction messes with your asset. So let's click our belt ramp. This one, since it goes upward, it has another X-form to it called belt ramp. And this belt ramp, if you go into it and scroll all the way down, the actual, not the mesh, the ramp itself, scroll down, and there's a physics material on this. There's a physics material on all your belts, but we want to make sure we're going to be adjusting the physics material for the belt ramp, and that is conveyor belt mat. So we make sure we're on our track, we find the physics material scope, and we go to conveyor belt mat. And this is where you can adjust your dynamic friction, your static friction, and your restitution. I am not versed on what these do exactly. I just adjust the values until I get something I like. So let's pause it again. If I adjust the restitution up to 1, I know it like flings it off sometimes. Oh, my cube probably doesn't have a physics material on it, so we need to actually do that. Yeah, dynamic friction is when it's moving. Static friction is when it's staying still. Those speak for themselves. Now finding the coefficient of it, because Martin asked that before. Do you know what the default value is for the friction coefficients? I do not. Now its restitution We could look up the definition of restitution, but I know it from like a deformable body, and I know that the restitution in a deformable body, when you want to make it like more jelly, you like up the restitution. So I wonder if it works the same. What is the definition of restitution? Restitution definition. This is a political definition in physics. Newton's law of restitution states that when two objects hit or collide, the speed at which they move after the collision is dependent on the material they are made from. In other words, some materials are bouncier or more elastic than others. Oh, you meant the default in the actual physics material itself. Yes. All right, so I'm going to create a physics material for my cube. And I'm going to go to create physics. I like right clicked on the cube if you missed it. Physics material. And I'm going to click a rigid body. I don't want to make it jelly. I want to make it more rigid. And now if I click on my cube and I scroll all the way down, I need to make sure that's applied. There's like a ton of physics materials because each conveyor belt has their own. And I'm going to go into that physics material. I'm going to make it, I guess that's more rigid. And see, when I start messing with the material on the cube, this is why I wanted to show that, because if you have a physics material for a different asset, it's like a sim-ready asset, this might mess with your conveyor belt. So now we can start going into our conveyor belt and adjusting to try to get it to work. This is my favorite part. Just watching it kind of go all over the place. It looked like it really, so no restitution was not good. A full restitution was also not good. There we go. 0.3 seemed to work. So these are different values you have to play with depending on your asset. Can we add mass to the cube? I have forgotten how to do that. There we go. Physics, mass. Let's give it some mass. I think that adds down here. There we go. Auto computed. This will have to be a new Learn With Me series part, because I don't even know. I've never explored this part before. It didn't seem to mess with it at all. That's very satisfying. What if I... Alright. Anybody have anything specific they want to see about this? Because I think that's pretty much it for the conveyor belt tool. Now it's just like creating it how you want. I think that summarizes everything I learned in my, was that 4 or 5 part series I did back in January. Now it's all concise down into one single stream, which I think is a good thing to do after all my parts. Now that I'm back in the game. Change the auto computed to a value. Does it let me? Oh, it does. I have to like triple click it. Let's give it a mass of 50, density of 5. Oh, we can leave these alone. Is a mass of 50 a lot? It'd be great if there were standard materials with preset physics configurations like cardboard for boxes. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's actually, so now that I've done, you know, starting from scratch, let's see if these have it. If like these assets here. Let's do a wood block. Slap that on the conveyor belt. Look how small it is. Let's look at it. Does it have a physics material on it? No, it doesn't look like it does. Does it even have physics applied to it? I do not see a rigid body even added to it. It's gonna fall right through. It doesn't do anything. So this is a beta asset tool. I wonder if I'm sure they're still working on this. There's a different asset provider in USD Composer. It used to be an Isaac Sim. I don't know. It's not working for me. When I go into browsers and I click on assets, it like gives me an error. I'm going to report that to the devs and see if they can fix it, because in that asset provider, there are cardboard boxes and pallets, and they all have physics already applied to them. And I'm curious if they have what Martin's talking about, if they're preset for those specific materials. I would hope so. It's a great question. What am I doing? I have time. Let's open up USD Composer. Or it's not Composer yet. Create. It will be Composer very, 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 very soon. Can you please tell me how to make it dynamic? Means we need to have UI where we can increase, decrease a velocity so we can simulate. Yeah. Do you mean the action graph? So if you type in, like we saw before, conveyor node, this is the action graph node that you would adjust. And if you shift, click all of them, you can adjust their properties all at once, and you can adjust the input of the conveyor node. Here, that's where the velocity is. Is this what you meant? Oh, sorry, your text was I was blocking it. Yeah, right there. Conveyor node, go to the input. If you select all of them with shift click, you can adjust them all at the same time. All right. This is USD Composer, formerly known as Create. And there is an asset store in here. No, wait. NVIDIA Assets, sorry. Asset Store is still good too, but NVIDIA Assets have the ones that I was talking about. I think it's in shipping, or is it in... Here's all the pallets, and here's the cardboard boxes. So some of these you'll see, it's the cardboard box with the SimReady asset name, the standard that they set for the names, and then it says with physics. So let's take a look at those and see. They used to be in the Isaac Sim. I don't know why it's not working. I'm gonna figure that out. It's not loading. Failed to load. All the ones with physics are not loading. Yeah, I forgot to, pray to the live stream god, so I'm being punished right now. Nothing will work on live stream. Do I have physics enabled? It should be automatic with USD Composer. Physics, yes. Physics schema plugin. Physics, all good to go. Physics core, good to go. Yeah, who knows? Looks like they're downloading. Can we bring these boxes into Isaac Sim? Yeah, so, just because this does the NVIDIA Assets browser doesn't work in Isaac Sim right now. It doesn't mean we can't use it. You could like pull all of these out, right? We use the ones we want while I wait for the physics ones to load. And then you would just save this USD. Then you would go into Isaac Sim, go into your content, and then find, you know, that USD wherever you save it. I save a lot of my stuff to downloads because it's easier to find sometimes. And then you just load that USD and you have the same whatever is in USD Composer. Wherever that went, there it is. Man, my physics doesn't want to load anything. Maybe AWS is out right now. Maybe I can find something else. Is it just those? Yeah, it's all of these. Bummer. All right, well you guys can take a look yourself. Go into create. All right, any last things before I start closing out? Pretty short stream today. Pop my face back in here. A cube race. Where'd my Isaac Sim go? There you are. Isaac Sim has a different icon, so I can never find it. All right, let's do this one. I'll throw that guy over there. Well, let's actually we'll just give him a rigid body. Go into here. What if we put a robot on it? Factory blocks? No, not robots. We're gonna put the doggy robot on it. The creepy doggy robot. Give it a rigid body. Great how to control via action graph. I can show you that. Look at that. Oh no! The box is a bully. Just threw the poor dog off the ramp. Pushing the other one along. What if we make the velocity of this bigger? Okay, so let's... I'll answer Sundar's question at the same time. Well, get rid of this. Go into my action graph. Is it this one? Yeah. And I'm gonna right click, open graph, and there is my action graph here. So I can edit it straight from the action graph itself. And let's set it to 50. Maybe it'll launch them. Yeah, it does. Look, I don't even know where it went. All the way over there. Bye, cube. Where'd the block go? Oh, it's all the way over there. It went farther than the cube. Nice. This poor dog, it doesn't want to do it. Maybe I'll put the dog behind it. Oh, it doesn't have joints. That's what the arrows keep telling me. None of these are connected. Where's the A one? Okay, let's put it over here. Behind the cube. All right, let's watch this thing launch. In Roller Coaster Tycoon, did you guys ever like purposely destroy your roller coaster while your Sims were on it? No, just me. Let's duplicate this cube. Isn't it duplicating? Click copy, paste. Nope. I'm gonna duplicate over and over again. we're gonna move one there. All right, this is the grand finale. They're struggling. One fell off. This dog is blocking it. Look, the dog's causing a hole up. Get him out of the way. Move. That's fun. Hopefully your warehouse isn't as chaotic as mine. Or it is. Whatever you want. And then, Sundar, you could probably. That's actually a good thing you could try. Add a button. So you could create like, I don't know, go into like button and create some kind of button that connects to the velocity of this conveyor belt, and then add a button in your UI, and every time you click on the button increases the velocity. You can give that a try. We don't have time today to do that, but that's a great question. That'd be fun to do. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for welcoming me back with open arms and watching me summarize all of the conveyor belt stuff. I will be back on Monday. Not quite sure what I want to do yet, but we'll figure it out. So make sure you tune into Magiscan's stream coming up in about 20 minutes here. And I will see you all on Monday. Bye.